So what we have found, I know that as we get older, we have found more and more of our friends are impacted by conditions, including us. So we're the baby boomers. And things are starting to happen to us at this age, and we either know someone or know someone. It used to be you knew someone quite removed, and now it's quite close, right? There's like at least 6 degrees of separation. You're starting to hear more and more of this. And I think that one of the things that was so amazing about that we learned is that how the world that we live in today affects our health. And I want to go through now the threats and the causes of disease that we may be aware of and those things that we're not aware of, but they are part of our environment. They're part of the things that we're exposed to on a daily basis, that we don't have to have this big guilt trip about it. Oh, I'm screwing up, I'm messing up with my diet, I'm messing up. There are things around us that are assaulting us in ways that we need to become aware of so you can better manage this. But I just want to explain to all of you today the urgency to kind of wake up. I hope this section is going to be a wake-up call about the things that actually are contributing to disease in our life, and then we want to move into all of the different solutions. So you're going to get some bad news before you get the good news, but the bad news is meant to simply just become aware of what's going on. This is a result of a lot of research. Some of it will sound logical to you, some of it may surprise you. So here's where we are today. These are the top 5 killers in the United States. Heart disease is the number 1. Cancer is number 2. Lower respiratory. How many people know of people that have, I do, lung cancer, and they've never smoked a cigarette in their life? How is that possible? What is going on? And it's one of the top killers right now. What is going on with that? Accidents, of course, and stroke are the top 5 killers. The next one is Alzheimer's and diabetes, and on it goes. But these are the top 5. So here's what happens with cancer. It affects, this is American Cancer Society. If you want to see our sources, look in the bottom left-hand corner. American Cancer Society latest statistics, 1 in 3 women, 1 in 2 men are going to get cancer in their lifetime. That is half the population of this country. That means 1,600 people a day are dying to cancer. If we were getting in the news that 1,600 Americans were dying in Afghanistan, we would be absolutely floored. It's happening around us right now. That is the equivalent of 4 jumbo jets every day. So here are the statistics. There's more than 200 kinds of cancers. This is what makes it so complicated in this case. But the World Health Organization says it's not only not on the decline, as you may hear sometimes over there, oh, cancer rates are on the decline. I'll explain how they manipulate those numbers. They're not. The World Health Organization says it's going to be a 50% increase in the next 15 years around the world. The United States is among the top 3 countries of the highest rates of cancer. And the most common right now are lung, breast, prostate, and colorectal. But in 2000, so when you hear rates about, oh, cancer rates are going down because lung, breast, and colorectal are going down, but the others are going up. Lung, pancreas, and liver are going up. So the truth is we have not, we're not winning the war on cancer. It is also the leading cause of disease among children and adolescents, which is a frightening thing. So what are the leading causes? Just obesity is a huge issue, and as we don't just walk around the airport to go into amusement parks or go to the movies, and you can see 4 in 10 Americans are obese. They're not all baby boomers. This is 1 in 5 are between the ages of 2 and 19 years old. Now, children are not, they're at home being fed things by their parents, they're out in the world, so what is it that they're consuming that is making them obese? It leads to cancer, it leads to stroke, and it leads to diabetes, among other things. How about ADD as well? Though it is terrifying, a chronic disease can be a divine wake-up call about the need for a change. It certainly was in our life, and it certainly may be in your life as well. So let's look at what the causes and threats are to our health. This is just on an environmental, looking at it from an environmental perspective. The first one is our standard American diet. I'm going to go into it a little bit, why it's so bad. Our toxins, our food supply, it's full of toxins. I want you to be aware of this. When you talk about organic food, and some people just sort of make fun of it, and there's reasons why organic food is more important for us to consume than regular food. We're going to go into why that is. Then there's environmental toxins, our air, our water, how our crops are dusted, things like that. There's other reasons. Home furniture and appliances, you may get some shocks about what's in our own homes in terms of toxicity. Home cleaning products. EMFs, electromagnetic fields. of the just radiation that are going around, cell towers, microwaves, all kinds of things that we're doing around us that we never had to experience before in other decades. Personal care products, lack of sleep. This is a big one for Americans. Lack of exercise. 76% of Americans are exercising sufficiently. 76%. We're leading very sedentary lifestyles. Smoking and drinking is on the rise, and of course the stress. These are just the environmental ones. These are the big environmental ones that we have to deal with. But there are other things that can cause disease and trigger illness in us. And these have to do with, these are psycho-spiritual things. Unconfessed and unresolved sin is going to ultimately make you sick. So that's one thing. Addictions of any kind ultimately are going to take a toll on your body. There's just so much time that you can get by before addictions begin to take a toll. Relational brokenness can put enormous emotional stress on us, psychological stress. Unforgiveness, the Bible is full of Psalms and quotes that explains that if you carry unforgiveness in your heart, your healing will not come. And then we must get right with the Lord and forgive people so that we can be the ones to experience healing. Rage and bitterness, which we can struggle with. Fear, which can totally overtake us. It's not from the Lord, but it can paralyze us. Abuse, people that have experienced any kind of abuse. Betrayal, loss, and trauma. All of these things can have a tremendous toll on our hearts, on our psychology. It suppresses the immune system. So these are threats and causes to all kinds of disease. And not just so we have the environment to deal with, but we have our own internal life that we have to deal with. So let's move on to just these leading causes so we can barrel through the problems before we get to the solution. The standard American diet, it's logical. It's low in all the good things for us. Fresh fruit and vegetables. It's high in all the bad stuff, the processed foods and the bad fats. It's high in sugar and sodium. We consume just so many pounds, the average American consumes pounds and pounds of sugar every year, and that contributes to every conceivable kind of breakdown in our immune system. Sodium is so bad for our heart. And the trouble is that these fast foods are riddled with mycotoxins, is a fancy word for fungus. Fungus is a precursor to cancer and other chronic conditions. So our food is riddled with mycotoxins, antibiotics to keep the animals from completely falling apart, pesticides over our fields, bovine growth hormones, which cause tumors, and harmful chemicals. So these are things, to be worried about. Add to that, we're stuck behind desks, we're doing huge commutes, we're not exercising enough, we're overstressed, we're under not sleeping enough, and this all leads to being, as a population, we are overstressed, we are overfed, we are underactive, and we are sleep deprived in a nutshell, right? Now the other thing to be aware of is because our food is so devoid, our normal sort of fast food is so devoid of nutrition elements, Americans are overeating because they can sense they're not satisfied, they're not getting what they need, so they're eating 2 and 3 portions of things, trying to feed themselves, and it's causing obesity and problems. But the truth is, part of it is they're simply trying to get the nutrition that one portion can't have anymore. So the quality of our food has been compromised. We want to hear from this man called Dr. Patrick Quillen, who was an author and a nutritionist, extremely bright man, who we've had the privilege of meeting and we've listened to his lectures, and he's got a lot to say, and you're going to hear from him a few times today. So I'm going to let Patrick take it for a minute.